Oh, let's see what this stuff looks like here. I go like that. I'm just curious what stuff looks like that I've added here. What's up, biggest Packers fan? Oh, it does show up. All right. Hmm. Okay. Something new, David. You might even like this. Something I've been working on. Something I've been working on, and I started putting it together this weekend. It's just been a little bit painful, and it's really to help out the community itself. Um, I brought it up months ago, and just that I haven't really had time with all the submissions. And I mean, when you're sitting there with this is no joke with over probably depending on how everything grades over $50,000 in cards out. You know, you start thinking what else you can do until stuff comes back in to start restocking. Oh, I forgot to hit my volume thingy off my computer. Hold on. If it's echoing, it's my fault. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna let the stream get healthy here. It's still a little oranged out. And then I'll explain what I've started, and if people want to, get involved in it, they can. If I don't see it going anywhere, I'll just probably delete it before I go much further into trying to develop something for the community itself with sports cards. And with it, I mean, with what I'm doing, it's more as a group as a whole, and it could get really, really advanced. So I'm not too sure. So there's a lot of different ideas with it, but I figured try to do something basic, and then eventually try to evolve it if it turns into something. But I'll really start looking more into uh, trying to make something that makes sense for everybody to be able to use on one output. So I tried to copy something that didn't want to work on me there. I hate the little mouses on the keyboards. Why is this not working? There we go. Because I always can never get highlighted with one hand. Alright. I'll give it about another minute or two, see if anybody else pops in here for it. I know a lot of it's kind of early for everybody, but I want to try to get this knocked out early enough to see what some people respond with, if what they think, if it's a good idea, bad idea. It could be anything. Might be like, I think it'll be a waste of time, and if enough people think that, I'll just drop the idea too. So the idea basically is you got all these YouTube channels out there that deal with sports cards, whether it's breaks, whether it's sales, auctions, unboxings, whatever you want to call it. There's so many channels out there, and there's a lot of issues, with when you start seeing so many channels populate. You're trying to get people to come to your streams and stuff like that. And sometimes you might have one viewer, you might have 40 viewers, you might have 100. You never really know offhand. And a lot of times, even though you hit the subscribe button, you hit the little bell, you're not getting the notifications, or they're going to spam email. And like, if you send emails out to say, hey, I'm live, or hey, I got this break coming up, a lot of times people might just be clicking and deleting emails and not really paying attention. They might go to their spam folders. And there's one thing that everybody always checks, and that's Facebook. Everybody loves Facebook. And no matter what groups I'm in, whether it's Raz's or whatever it may be, people always seem like, oh, they posted something new and they want to look at it and, see what's going on. It takes very little time. Notification pops up in your notifications and stuff like that there. I mean, you can tag people, do whatever you want with it. So I sat there and started trying to compile how to really do this. It's going to take more than just me to do it because I would have to spend all my time onto it. So if people want to help along the way, I can appreciate the help for one, and I can give people, I guess you could say, admin or moderator rights or whatever it may be. So what I did, let me find it here. Boom. I made a Facebook group up, and I haven't really played with my own Extreme Card Breaks one that much anymore. Just for the fact that between emails and every little bit of social media there is out there, it's really, really hard to, keep up with. And everybody I know understands. Some people don't use Facebook, some don't use Instagram, some don't use Twitter and Snapchat and everything else. I figured if there was a common place to where people would have YouTube channels could go to, you could use the events tab and post when you're going live. You could make a post into the room, and at the same time frame, you could there's rules with it and everything. That's what I've been developing. That's why I want to see what everybody would think. You would have different classifications, and not every YouTube channel is going to be able to sit there and post because the posts have to be approved first. And I've learned this from so many groups that I've been into that have been around for years. Some people take advantage. They want to bump their post always to the top and stuff like that. And that's why there has to be rules in play to make it fair across the board. But I don't want to just make it for just the YouTube sports card, channels out there. I want members to be able to sit there and post their mail days, pictures of what they hit so and so as well. Let you guys buy, sell, and trade. Just like anything else, you got to mark for sale, for trade. PC, not for sale, not for trade, stuff like that. Because when you really look at a lot of the YouTube channels, you start going through them, you see the same people in them. You really do. Then again, you see a lot of new people too into them. So it's trying to get everybody together, at least a good chunk of people, to where you have one common place to go to. If you're a YouTube channel that's out there and you think this might be a good idea, I mean, there's a lot to it. There really, really is. I'll give you the mod rights onto it and stuff, and you can approve your own stuff. But I just don't want every YouTube channel across the board coming on because there's a lot of people that will just sit there and try to. I don't know if the word leech off of it, but I'm trying to be more correct because if I was in a lot of the other Facebook groups, we would call it leech, poach, stuff like that. But where they would just come in, they just want everybody to come to their channel. They don't go to anybody else's channels. They very rarely do any kind of support and stuff like that. So, the people onto it, we're going to have to pretty much vet them in to make sure, they're good to go. You're not on any scam list, stuff like that there. If you are, what was the reasons behind it? It takes a lot of work with stuff like that. I might allow razzing into it. I've been working on to that. But it's going to have to be straight by the book, verified random.org account. Either go live or you have screencasts, and you got to put the live or setting up live done, all that stuff onto it. But that's something that's later down the road to really work on. But I figure, a lot of times people don't get alerts. They don't know who's live. And you could have on the events, on a calendar show, hey, so and so's doing this, or maybe I was planning on going live, but somebody else, hey man, I'm doing a charity auction. I want to do that day. You can bump stuff around to where it kind of makes sense for the community and people aren't, having 7 streams open at one time. I got it Friday and Saturday nights. Everybody wants to stream. That's just going to be one of those things. But it would at least allow members of the group to see what's going on, what streams are available. Oh yeah, he posted a giveaway, let's go check this video out, or whatever it may be. And at the same time frame, a person could post, if they got cards for sale, trade, and it's all on to the members themselves. With shipping, making sure that you get it out within 72 business hours, which is a lot of time to ship something. To everything like that. But I want people to have YouTube channels to be able to, have somewhere they can post links to their stuff for breaks, sales, auctions, videos. Come watch me open a box of, I don't know, 1952 tops, whatever it may be. You don't have to go live into the group and dual stream and all that stuff. This is more just like as a reference page for it. And I mean, if a lot of people aren't really wanting to really get into it and stuff like that, it's fine. I can convert this just to be, very private. The group is public, but you can't get into it unless you're vetted in type deal. And I think it would work, but it's going to take more than just me, David, really onto it. It takes a good group of people to come together and be able to push it. And that's the link to the group right there. Hey, what's up, Parker? And I think, with it, people could post events on there. You guys could do watch parties on there for people that, don't have YouTube channels. You guys want to have 6 to 8 people, whatever the limit is, to sit there and talk about cards. You can. You don't have to have a YouTube channel for it and try to work all the widgets and all the other crazy stuff just to have like a Zoom conference. At the same time frame, everybody in the group is going to be vetted to the best of my ability, and everybody else's that want to step up, because I'm going to need moderators. I'm going to need other people as admins. And like I said, if you got a YouTube channel, and I know you for a while, you go into other people's rooms and stuff, I'll give you the permission. That way, when you drop your post, you can go ahead and read and prove it and stuff like that. There's a lot of people, like I said, that just go into people's rooms, they say hello and what's up, and check my channel out type deal, and then they ghost. That kind of stuff there, I don't want that to be part of the group. I want people that's going to be able to work together and stuff like that there. And I think it's just cool because a lot of people don't do videos, and you could sit there and say, hey, I got all this for sale, or I'm looking for this card here, and a bunch of people get to see it. I don't think the group will ever get like huge numbers, tens of thousands of people, but even if you have a couple hundred people in a group that are very tight niched and stuff like that, it works out really, really well. Well, thank you. Yeah, I started doing it today. Well, I started with the idea of having a layout over probably a while back. The idea came up, and I started pedaling around with it. And, a lot of people are like, oh, there's so many rules. Well, it's not really a lot of rules. It's to help keep everything flowing with the group and to make sure people aren't spamming, phishing, stuff like that as well. And I think it'd be cool because, I don't know who's live every night, and I have to sit there and, do 10,000 subscriptions, and half the time you don't get the alerts. I don't. I'm like, man, I never knew freaking like ABC was live, stuff like that. At the same time frame, a lot of channels that don't get a lot of people, a lot of views, even afterwards, at least somebody be like, oh man, he did a sale tonight. Let me see if anything didn't sell that I want. I have people do that all the time that hit me up. But I also have the store website too that I do a lot of my stuff on too. And to be honest, I've been backing away from doing breaks for about a good year now. And people that know me, it's just with the product is just getting insane and everything. And then you got holdups with grading companies that throw monkey wrenches into everything every which way. You can come on there and vent, man. I can't believe freaking PSA, man, and stuff like that there. Or, hey, guys, can you look at this card here? What do you think? Is the centering look good? I mean, you're not going to be able to tell for surface flaws and stuff like that there. Or just basic common questions, especially with the YouTube channels themselves. People always have questions. And, eventually, some people don't want to do YouTube and they like Facebook. I mean, we might be able to let people do breaks in the group if it got big. Hey, cool. Glad it made it safe, Frank. Glad it made it safe. But I just see so many YouTube channels out there. Guys have such great content, and they're not getting views. They're not getting people in their rooms and stuff like that. And honestly, it's probably because people don't know, that you're there. At least here, in the announcements, I'm going to put links to, people's YouTube channels and stuff like that there so people can find them. Plus, the YouTube people can post on there as well. I mean, the only thing I don't want is like people like, oh, hey, come join my Facebook group and stuff like that. It's really not the thing, but, stuff gets poached all the time and that. And there are people who do it, but I thought it would be kind of cool because You could have an events, and I played around with it. That's not the live screen. That's just a snapshot that I took. But I went in there just playing around with it just for my weekly giveaways, and you could post way out for a full year. Everybody knows when you're live. I can't tell you how many times like I miss ABC's emails that he's live, um, and stuff like that because it goes in my spam filter. And here I'm sitting there watching, freaking Game of Thrones rerun or something on there instead of being able to go support somebody's channel. Or I'm sitting there laughing at, like Logan Paul doing something stupid or Mark Donner or stuff like that there. Or I'm just doing work and there was nobody on, so I'm into my work so much that I just don't know you're live. So I figured this might be something cool to do. I'm not too sure how many people would really be interested. I mean, of course, you'd have to have a Facebook page. And I got a lot of people don't like Facebook and stuff like that there, but you could always make up some kind of weird Facebook thing just to join the group, and you can call yourself whatever onto it. Just I figured it'd be something good. I know there's a lot of younger members out there. A lot of people always have tons of questions, and just like, hey, how do I go about getting a license for this? How do I go about this? Hey, anybody know where this is at? And stuff like that there. And it's to share the wealth of the information. There's something on there about it. You can always search the group and be like, oh, I want to know who all is doing BCW and stuff like that, and see who already has stuff on them. And hey, it could turn into something. It might not. I don't know. But I figured I'd give it a whirl at it. You never know what'll happen. Heck, if there's local card shows in your area you're going to be at, set up, it don't matter, with it. But I figured it'd be something different to do. To try to link, even if it's only 5 or 6 channels together, I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to want to do it and stuff like that. But even if you link a few channels together and then, you say, hey guys, there's a YouTube, Facebook group with all the channels on it. Why don't you join? You start getting other members involved within the community. They're like, oh, I didn't know these guys did this and that. Or they seen you in the chat. What's up, Chris? Uh-oh. What's different? Oh, I made start a new Facebook group, but it's not like crazy like it's going to be like Valhalla, Aces and Eights or nothing like that. you know. But I figured it'd be something to where people can go live, or you can be like, hey, I'm live now onto it, put your link to your channel, and people know you're live. I think it would help you. I mean, especially if you're going to start trying to, go on your own, David, and not be into into somebody else's group, and you want to venture out, eventually as well. This here, you could sit there and, do whatever you want to do into it and stuff like that there. I mean, there's always very certain rules, and like Crystal even knows for a while, you got to have a verified random paid account, because otherwise that stuff. And I think Chris was around when it happened, where people rigged random.org years ago, and stuff like that. Bad stuff happened on too. That's why there's been a lot of precautions in the older, bigger. I guess you'd call them mostly Raz groups. Some people do them for sale and trade and stuff like that. But I think it'd be kind of nice, because when you hit the events, you can either just look at all the events, or you can hit the calendar and it pops up. It shows, hey, these people are all live tonight, or they're all doing this. The same time frame, like I said, if Mountain Gorilla is sitting there, wants to do Friday night and say he wants to do a auction to benefit something out there, people could be like, well, you know what, I can either, switch, go out another day, do this or that, just so, a lot of the attention goes to that stream that night, because it's for a cause. But yeah, I think it would be good to have a following where, you go in somewhere, and like I said, if you venture out, and I think YouTube, to be honest, is probably one of the best platforms for a breaker. This is coming from a guy. I'll prove you. I can't do it from here. Well, actually, I might be able to. Let me go on here. And I've been on it all. I've been on Breakers TV. I've been on freaking. You've been on here? Oh, I'll prove you guys. I've done Facebook, I've done Twitch, and all that stuff to where I think it'll all be good overall. I know you guys. I'll get you all fixed up though afterwards. Yeah, I think it'll be really, really well. And the thing is, the posts have to be, approved by either an admin or moderator if people want to start doing that kind of stuff. And I know you well enough, I'll put you on there. If you have a YouTube channel, like I said, and I know you bounce around, in other streams helping out and stuff like that, I'll automatically give you the permission to, that way you can approve your own post too when you get onto it. But I think this would really be well. And I mean, eventually, if there's just, somebody wants to do Facebook breaks, one or two people, we could probably try to incorporate it somehow, some way too. But overall, it helps everybody out. You're not sitting there waiting to fill breaks. You could try to, if you use your website, some people fill breaks by websites, some fill it other ways and stuff like that there. Yeah, I am, Chris. I really am. That's why I was talking on to here that if people want to help contribute to something like this to help make it, better, because you got to remember a lot of the rules and stuff I had to jot down by hand. I mean, there's no rises right now on to, even though I'm starting to work that part. But I think we first have to have probably a good group of people to start razzing in there. But, um, you know, like Rut uses my random.org. I have no problem. I trust Rut and stuff like that. There, he's not going to like try to go destroy my random.org account. Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, just with that, there trying to approve posts because there's going to be times to where there might be a delay to where a post can't get approved real quick and stuff like that. But I think the idea of having the approved post is best because that way you know what's getting put in there. People aren't putting 5, 6 posts at a time on there. If you're going to do a for sale for trade thing, post all your stuff into one post type deal. And but I mean, with it there, you look at some of the big groups out there that have done this over the years with moderating, just by simple stuff like this. It flows. It takes a while to get used to it. It really does, because you're always double checking and stuff like that there. And some people, my thing is, I'm just going to send you an IM or PM if there's something up with your post to change or something like that. Like, hey, you can't go fishing, you can't put down. I have I don't know. I'm just gonna think like a Zion Prism base for sale. There's no price. You got to put a price onto it. You can put our best offer at the end, but there has to be a price on it. Same with trades. You got to have a trade value onto it and stuff like that there. But I think it would work out well because everybody's always looking to do trades and stuff like that there, and at the same time frame each YouTube channel is basically responsible to put their own stuff in the events calendar and stuff like that there. And when you start getting people onto it, inviting people in and everything, it should grow pretty well. It'll take time. I mean, I'm not going to go and spam everybody in everybody's Facebook groups to come join us and stuff like that there. I won't do that. That's to me is one of those backdoor poaching things that I didn't like. But you can sit there and tell people, hey man, I'm running this here. I'm over here. If you want to join, I can send you a link and stuff like that there. But don't you come in, don't be spamming people because that's the first thing you'll hear is people are spamming this everywhere, and I just don't want to have to deal with a ton of PMs about people spamming it everywhere. I'd rather keep it be a tight, good group of people of even up to 1,000. You start looking at a lot of successful groups and stuff. You got real breaks out there, a huge break group. I mean, they float through cases every night. They also have separated their channels into, I think, like buy, sell, trade, and stuff like that. You have like hidden Raz rooms that people, are real hush hush and hard to get into. Aces and eights, gold standard, Valhalla, stuff like that there. And if you never really had a Facebook presence to on stuff, this is a good way to do it. Eventually, I'll probably start adding some people that I know into it and stuff like that there, just because I know they're subbed to my YouTube channel offhand. I'm not going to blast everybody because I'm sure I'd hear about it in a lot of GIF way, and GIF as in GIFs. But yeah, people want to sit there and do auctions and stuff. Hey, all of a sudden now, you got rained out on a Sunday and you were supposed to go to a baseball game and you just want to do an auction or sell thing, go in the group and just put, hey, I'm going live in an hour and going to do a sell or auction. Chris, you know how many groups I've seen falter with Facebook groups over time. My goodness. I've seen guys that have really benefited from it and people that have failed onto it through the years. And, I personally think out of all the places that I've done breaks at, whether it's Facebook, Twitch, Breakers TV, or the defunct Vaughn TV to, was it US Stream and stuff like that there, YouTube is probably the best place to go. It really is. Now, granted, anybody can have a YouTube account and stuff like that there. That's why I'm going to look at anybody that's, wants to do breaks and stuff like that to make sure, they're following the basic rules. They're keeping the stuff on camera, stuff like that. But ultimately, they're responsible for it, but I just don't want any kind of backlash coming on the group. Oh, yeah, yeah. I knew a group, and they were a year old maybe, and they dealt with a lot. The only thing they would razz, it had to be a graded card. Okay. Well, they got so greedy, they were charging $4 per razz to the video tipper. To me, I mean, that's up to you. You need to tip a video guy for one, whether you send him $1, $2, $3, whatever. Brandon Cooks to 99. Brandon Cooks to 99. Not too many people will probably remember Brandon Cooks to 99. What was it? MW73. What was his name? Michael Wilson, wasn't it? But yeah, you don't hide stuff like that there. I mean, if you have the big hit, that's why I have run dual camera. I have the top camera. You know how many times I've knocked over that front camera there on the stand? Not even funny. But that's why I have a top camera stuff. I'm like, oh man, it's a big hit. We're going to put it back here for the end of the box. The top camera is always looking down at it. I can't switch it out. And I can't go behind my screen at all, or my desk at all. So it's up almost pretty much against the wall. But that's why there's different little tricks to trade and stuff like that with it. And I mean, like I told people before, when I started out, I had two people help me out: Scott Bateson from Nasty Breaks and David from Platinum Card Breaks. I was very thankful because the first time I ever even attempted a stream, I was on YouTube when nobody watched. But then I went on to Breakers TV, and I had some people come in. They gave me a lot of opinions onto it. They were all real professional about it. You couldn't beat it that time frame. That was back like 3-4 years ago. Back when Breakers TV was, maybe most you would see 12 to 15 breakers on during a Friday or Saturday night. Now, I don't even know what it is, 30, 40. Everybody's trying to, get a piece of the pie onto it on there. Plus, that site, man, it used to crash so much. That's why a lot of people started dual streaming with YouTube. Breakers TV's down, and you have to jump over to YouTube. That way, at least you had a video feed still running, and you didn't have the old Brandon Cooks to 99 incident going on. I mean, there's nothing you can do if you have a power failure or something like that. I mean, it's just a given. It's just a trust that you have to have with your relationship with the people in your break. But yeah, I mean, I started posting an announcement on there and stuff like that with rules and stuff like that. I mean, granted, they could be changed in any time frame, but it was just stuff that I've known from years of doing stuff, and knowing what people do to keep the group pretty much safe and to make sure that everything's, coherent on there. I mean, there's still probably more. I just have to, have a brain dump again and be able to look at it again, be like, man, I'm missing this or that, or have somebody like, hey, man, you forgetting about this or that onto it. That way it can be added onto it. And, I don't know if a lot of YouTubers are going to want to get in on something like this. They might not, but for smaller channels that have, 50 to, under 1,000 people, it might benefit them, might not. I don't know. Depends. You always get what you put into something. If you're going to sit there and put hours and hours and hours into something, you'll benefit eventually. It might take 2, 3 years. It might take a week. But yeah, I mean, at the same time frame, I could sit there and say, well, hey, anybody want a box spring? These are the boxes I got, the picture, prices onto it, stuff like that. There, just a quick way to grab everybody's attention. Hey, something's going on with you or your channel and stuff like that. There, and you never know. People will remember stuff on posts like, hey, I'm looking for a card out of 25. I can't find it anywhere. And maybe somebody's out and about one day, they see it, and they do a quick search the group for that card. Boom, pulls up your post, and they find it. But it was a big idea that I had a while back. Like I said, it's probably a month or two now, at least, about trying to bring in a lot of YouTube channels together to help grow into one big thing. Because, a lot of times you don't see the post, you don't see the little notification thing pop up. Heck, I can't tell you how many people say in my emails, even though I maybe send them once a week now, if that, go to their spam filter. So they had no idea that break was going on or this or that. I get more people that'll go to the website by me posting something on a Facebook business page than I would off an email. I don't know if that's like that for everybody else or not. No idea. But in the long run, yes, I will need lots of help with this. Whether you want to be admin, you want to just moderate, whatever it may be. If you're a YouTube channel and you think you might want to get into this, just, hit me up onto it. It's very easy to do, so that way I know who you are, prove you into it, and try to make something that's going to be fun, yet safe for everybody as well, too. Because I'm part of a bunch of different little scammer groups out there, so there's lists out there that I can look at and stuff like that, help keep us all safe onto it the best we can. So we don't have a Michael Wilson come in there and say Brandon Cooks to 99. What was that other incident that happened after Cooks? Man, now I can't even think of it. There was another one after Cooks. Cooks is just the most famous one of all. And it's funny that they actually pinned that to be in that Brady 101 autograph. I think that's funny now. They finally figured out what it was in there. Because I think that Michael Wilson was 2017, if I think right. Can't remember offhand. But I mean, also, if the feeds start getting too cluttered up and we start looking doing Razes and stuff like that, there we can branch off and make just a solid Raz channel. I just don't like to have a ton of channels because then it's just way too much to keep up with. But yeah, I thought because that was cool because you can do those watch parties on there, and all you gotta do is use the camera on your computer. You don't have to be set up like a breaker or anything like that. You could sit there and do trade night or something on there. And just because you have a watch party doesn't mean like people aren't going to just come in there and live stream with you. They can just sit there and watch and be like, oh man, I want that card. All about making contacts. Some people build sets, some people do collections, some people just looking to move stuff to get other stuff they want down the road. And I think we've all been around mostly for a while to pick out what's good, what's bad, stuff like that there. So if you've been watching the video and stuff like that, just even if it's not live now and you think it's a good idea, think it's a bad idea, I'm just curious to see where everybody's at before I start even starting to go any bigger into doing all this because there's a lot that's got to go to it. I mean, if I get enough people, even if it starts off like two, three, four YouTube channels, I'll launch it and then I'll try to let everybody know, hey, the site's officially up and stuff too, or the group's officially up. Like I said, the YouTube channels don't have to stream in there. It's not like one of them dual stream things. It's more like for announcements and stuff like that. Same time frame, guys are always in the groups, trying to sell stuff. Hey, you guys can use that. You can go do a watch party together and do your trades, whatever it may be. But yeah, a lot of people, like I said, they miss out on a lot of stuff because think if you're subscribed to 100 plus channels, think of how many alerts you get that go into your email, and you're just like, oh, he's live, 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 and you're just missing the stuff, and you could be missing a good giveaway, you could be missing a cool break that's reasonably priced and stuff, or you just be missing your favorite little YouTube personality on there. But like I said, eventually, I mean, we probably could have somebody or a couple people if they want to break just solely on that channel and do it and stuff too. To where, they don't want to do YouTube. They just want to do straight Facebook as well, which is fine. I don't like the way Facebook operates with the new streaming. It's just they change it every other week. Half the time I gotta sit there and ask people to stream on there constantly, like, what the heck is all this? Is this working right? Because you got to make sure you click the right button and you're not streaming on your personal page, which I know has happened to both me and other people because they changed their method around onto it to where YouTube's been pretty much, you know, solid with the way they do stuff. I mean, they changed the way you can upload videos now. You just got to get used to the new way. But again, some people might just be like, hey, I'm good where I'm at too. That's perfectly fine. But I figure I try to at least give some help out to everybody out there somehow, some way to, try to bring some of us together other than just popping in each other's chats and stuff like that. And if you are under age 18, make sure you get your mom and dad's permission before joining the group. Got to always put that out. Because you may see gifts that are inappropriate. I'm trying to see when people are still hanging out here. It's about 4 or 5. Depending on which way I look at, some people are not logged into YouTube, and I can see them off of XSplit. Man, what a day at work today. My mind is just blown after sitting there coming back after 4 days of work or being off. Trying to finish everything up pretty much this week to where the next 3 weeks is pretty much a lot of downtime and just prepping for the next 10 weeks of fun. Let's rip Tater Chip. I won't have anything to rip until Friday night. I will have some Top Series 2. I will have 3 new releases, one being soccer. So if you ever want to watch me butcher some names up, soccer is definitely the one. I'm better at doing hockey names. I think it's Prism Soccer or something like that comes out. Chronicle Soccer. I forget what it is. There's actually I can just pull it up because won't screw the stream up. Chronicle Soccer, Absolute Baseball, and Chronicles Draft Picks Collegiate Football. Got a box of each to open up, see what comes out. Then you guys know it's already going to be Luminance football the week after. Obsidian basketball, I do have two boxes, but that stuff's just going insanely in price. So I'll probably just toss that probably on the eBay or on myslabs.com just to get rid of it. And then Donruss Optic Baseball is the week after. And rounding out the month will be Museum Baseball, which I do have three boxes, so we'll look to see how we'll do that. Um, Maybe some combo teams and stuff onto it. And then Donruss Elite Football will end out the month. August will start off hot and heavy. Luminaries Baseball, Topps Chrome Baseball, which I do have a full case of Hobby and a full case of Jumbo. I don't know if I'll be breaking it. I'll probably sell it outright just for the fact that that's a lot of sorting and shipping, especially if I do a dual case. Racing belongs to somebody. Sterling Baseball will come out the week later. Then we're looking at Elements Football and Case Basketball, which is getting stupid crazy in price right now. A little bit of Archives Baseball, Certified Football. I mean, August is smashed. Immaculate Baseball, Panini Black Football, Contenders Optic Basketball, which I did find out today. I got two whole boxes of it. Um, Immaculate Collection Collegiate Football. And Heritage High number will round out the month of August. So lots of stuff in August. They have stacked the deck in August. And you got to remember, a lot of this stuff did get moved because a lot of that product is centered around the national convention. And because that is now in December, which I'm pretty sure is probably going to get canceled because I don't see a lot of people showing up the week prior to Christmas to it, unless they're from the area. And it's not that far of a drive. But I've heard a lot of the big companies are not going to it. But I think it'd be kind of cool to do a watch party, with a lot of the channels too, maybe, or something like that, or a bunch of people, trade night. I don't know, something different to do. I know there's ways to do it on YouTube with different programs and stuff, but I'm sticking to the XSplit, and I can't figure out how to do it from there. Bum, 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 bum. And I will give the link again. This is where it's starting at, in case anybody else is just popping by thinking they might want to do it. It's also, there is a link in the description down below. It says link to new Facebook group. If you're watching the video and stuff like that, there. Like I said, I'm open to all kinds of suggestions for a page, and with how to incorporate a lot into it. But I really like to see to where people just come in there and post when they're going to be live the most. I mean, I know you can set premieres on YouTube, but I can't tell you how many times I've missed premiere settings and stuff like that there. They just don't pop up in my top 8 a lot of times. So I miss a lot of people going live. A lot. And like I said again, if you don't have to put it on the event calendar. If you know you want to go live in an hour, pop it on there. I mean, you might get 2, 3, 4, 5 people extra. It's normally not on there, just because people are looking for something to do. Especially during COVID-19, it's just going insane even more now. Y'all see we'll be getting another stimulus package here, hopefully by the end of next month, from my understanding, from what I got from my good old tax stuff that came through. No, I don't know how much. That's still all being discussed. I know that. But yeah, pretty much I got up and started working this during lunch. At least get the basics onto the Facebook group on there. As you can see, private group. You know, Unless you have a link and stuff like that there, you ain't gonna find us. That way we don't start getting all kind of spam people into there. And once we hit a certain number, we'll probably start incorporating the vouch thing on there too. But a lot of people I've known for a while, either through here, through multiple other channels and stuff like that. Crazy little pug, man. She's like, we need to go eat dinner. Sleep all day, and if I would want to take a nap right now, I'm done. No nap time for me. And by means, I'm not saying that it'll turn into a Raz channel at all either, but I figured I'd let some people who might want to do it, give it a try. They can. There's plenty of good Raz groups out there, but the option will be there eventually onto it. Mostly more just a more of a buy, sell, trade forum for everybody, where you can get in touch with other people. Again, uh, know when people are live, stuff like that. Plus, you'll see all kind of different groups on there too, which is a good thing. What's up, Cardinals fan? You'll see a lot of different channels you can go check out. Might be your cup of tea, might not be. I also know a lot of people that like their privacy too, but if you're in other Facebook groups and stuff like that, privacy's pretty much out the window anyhow. I probably would be off Facebook completely if it wasn't for cards. Everybody knows my phone number hasn't changed in years. If it would, I'd just send one mass text out. No exciting new mail today. I think a lot of it's not coming into the end of the week. Got a little bit more to load up in the store tonight. And then prepared for a lot to be added this weekend, especially with opening up new releases. Maybe I can finally pull a whale out. I don't think I really pulled a big whale out this year yet. Been definitely some nice cards, but nothing that's been like huge, huge. A couple Zion autos, I guess, probably be the big ones this year. The Absolute. I think Contender's Draft was the other one. But yeah, if you're all interested, by means, the links both in the chat here. I think if you're watching the rolling chat, you can click it, go down the description, link to the new Facebook groups there. And it's more just to try to build the YouTube community and the card community a little bit better than what is out there. I mean, um, I don't think there's anything quite like this anywhere. I couldn't find it myself, but hopefully it does something for some benefits. So like I said, with a watch party, a calendar, buy, sell, trade, stuff like that. Might make a new friend or two even out there. You never know offhand. And by all means, I mean we doesn't have to be that for the name of the group. I could get that changed too. I was just trying to think of something quick and simple to put on there for the time being. What's up, Chat Town? How you doing? A lot of people popping in now. Ah, it's after 5. Everybody coming on. East Coasters. But yeah, if you want to get involved with it, anybody on there wants to help admin, moderate, just let me know. If you want to come on there just for the mod part so you can approve your own post, that's fine too. Man, I feel you on dumpster fire every day. I feel you. I feel you completely. It all started this morning when I ordered DoorDash. Man, I was hungry for Chick-fil-A. They have the receipt right in front of them. How do they know not to bring my drink? But yet there's a straw hanging out of the bag. I would never touch GMA. I will only touch 3 places with my cards. And unless the comic book place starts doing them, that would be a fourth. Through the years, so many places have just popped up for grading, and mm-mm. Most people will not take the words for it. Jack, backlog ain't even a word anymore. They are just out in left field with that. The only thing you could do is just wait. You'd be lucky if GMA got half the price of an SGC. And to me, that doesn't do justice on the card. Yeah, that is correct. If you're looking at Magnus is 100% right. If you're into it for investment, GMA would be bad. If you're just looking to get something encapsulated, yeah, I guess. I would stay far away for investment wise with my cards. I will say PSA numbers have dropped. I mean, they haven't really touched much on bulk and stuff, but their the regular one has dropped to 20 days. It was in the high 30s beginning of last week. They are starting to make some leeway. XGC is going to take a while to catch up. BGS is just going to be that way too. I mean, I don't know what. I know they had a lot of people or a lot of job openings for graders that they just can't keep filled. Don't know. It could be work environment there. I don't know. But BGS, if I was planning on sending something to them, it would probably be something I'm pretty sure would not PSA or BGS 9.5 at least with a 10 auto because it would just be insane to pay that kind of money onto it. I mean, if I'm going to pay, here's my idea: if I'm going to pay $50 to PSA to grade a card value from $4.99 to $1,000, I think is now the total, and wait 30 business days roughly onto it, I would rather take that $50, send it to PSA, and I can get it 2 or 5 day and have it back in time. I I don't know offhand if I think they have the best. What's up, Decathologist? I would probably I seen them have they have a numbers to where they're showing their turnaround time where nobody else does. But I have been keeping track of it, and where they were at like 70 days for their regular stuff has dropped down to 20. And it's not an error. I called today. They said they've been pushing that. That's why it's dropped so much. The extended hours and weekends is where they've been concentrating on stuff that's like 30 days, and they're doing a small percentage of bulk. So they have a plan. So I'm happy to hear that because I can't get in touch with SGC except for by email, and all they tell me is they're 2 months behind with a big long explanation of what they're trying to do to rectify the problem. But I have not seen anything being done physically onto where I at least can on PSA. BGS, I even the guys that do drop offs there are limited to like 400 a week, and that goes quick when people are sending them their cards to do that. To me, if I was going to wait it out and the cards valued under $500, I would use PSA over SGC and Beckett right now. because I think it's what like $20 to get a 30-day with BGS, and that's turned into 2 months. That's right. You said you were cutting your trip short because of all that over there. Will we get to see pictures on your next stream? I like to see pictures of that area, other than what I see on the internet. I think PSA's just been around for a while, but even though they talk scandals and everything, eventually it's just going to happen to everybody. Florida is really. Texas is another one. Texas is another big one. They have something stupid out for numbers, but their numbers are being based off of like some inaccurate stuff from what I'm hearing too, with them counting multiple tests on people as multiple numbers. But um, what was it? 45, 46 out of 50 states all increased. Yeah, they were talking about that, the highest number ever, Jack. I was like, man, that's a lot of people. And the sad part is that's not the people that went vacationing there. That's the people that live there. So imagine how much more contributed people that already went on vacation, came back, and now are getting it. Oh yeah, I'd love to see some pictures of that too if you're able to do it. It's always cooler to see stuff from people that have been there than versus me like Google imaging and stuff like that. Plus, there's always a story to tell with it. Hey, I'm starting to wonder about my card show coming up here next month. I'm starting. It's about a month and a week away. Um, I don't know what the city's going to entitle onto it, and I think I might not even really be set up to sell a lot, just for the fact one, I don't know how many cards now out being graded after I just sent more PSA and SGC. Well, SGC logged in today, but Brian, if you're watching, SGC logged in today. But I'm gonna have to more be watching people coming through the door than anything, making sure I think masks are on and everything else. So I'm starting to wonder, and I got to get with a lot of the vendors too yet. No, Rut's home state he claims is like New England, Boston area. He just lives in Florida, Clearwater. Well, yeah, I think he's in Clearwater. Yeah, he is in Clearwater. Rut. I'm gonna make Rut join this group just so I can pick on him. That's the thing is, it's a lot of the vacationing places. You're right onto it. I mean, I don't really know what you vacation to see in Texas. I had to drive through it once, and I never want to go back there. That was horrible driving through it. I almost would rather drive through Kansas like 4 times. Kansas is a pretty boring state on I-70, but a lot of the places for vacationing, even look at South Carolina like Myrtle Beach, Ocean City, Florida's just like one big beach down there. That's why a lot of people have their summer homes down there. I mean, even where I grew up in Pennsylvania, they're starting to pour in cases, and that's not a vacationing spot. Oh man, Texas is horrible to drive through. Oh wow. We came back from Afghanistan, and one of my guys had his car because he was coming from overseas, got picked up and was stored right. I forget what the name of the town was. It was really southern California, but it was right on the Texas border, and we had a 4 day weekend. Right before leaving, matter of fact, now that I think about it. And he like, could I get a ride? And I'm like, I'll take you. What the heck? I forget the name of the little town. If I look on the map, I'll find it. Man, that was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Mm-mm-mm. And one time I drove the whole southern way from Georgia to LA, and that was horrible too. Honestly, I think they're probably the safest, man. They stay in their own little communities. We have a small little community out here of them. And if you want to do work, like you have to come pick them up, and they have to get permission from their community members or whatever to do it and stuff. But I'll tell you what, they do some fine work. There's no joke. You could see them driving their buggies and stuff. And I felt bad one day because it was downpouring, and you all know there's like different like types of Amish people and stuff out there. So but I didn't know which type they were, and stopped in front of them, and I asked them, "Do you all want to ride or something?" And just let the one dude drive back, and they said they couldn't get into a vehicle at all. They had to get selected permission for it. You see them out in the wintertime, in the snow with that horse and buggy and everything. I haven't. See, Pennsylvania, we used to go out to a place called Lancaster, which is kind of like out towards Harrisburg and Hershey. There were some there, but you we would go south to this place in Maryland called Yoder. And my grandfather used to always like to go there once a month grocery shopping for like the homemade cheeses and all this stuff. I like going because I missed a day of school because nobody was there to pick me up at the bus stop, in second, third, and fourth grade. Man, I remember going down there and they had this packets of root beer, and all you had to do is mix it with water. It tastes just like root beer. It was the greatest drink ever. They were yellow packets. You can make popsicles out of them and everything. What's up, Greg? Ah, not bad. How's everything going with you? I came on just to show I made a new channel thing, a Facebook group up for people. I mean, figure try to get the YouTube channels and stuff maybe linked all together. They could use the calendar on there. Members can, do watch parties and stuff. At least that way, when you're missing the notifications from YouTube and emails that they're going to spam or just not going out timely, you have somewhere else you can post real quick. And also, if you want to go live, see if anybody else is live. Especially if you want to do auctions or whatever. I do glow in the dark. Man, there was this restaurant down there that they had. So we would leave at I bet you it was like 5 in the morning. We'd get there by like 8:30. So my grandfather would pay for breakfast. He couldn't drive, so my mom would drive. Long ride. We'd get breakfast, and then we would go to Yoder's meat market. Then you'd have to drive the whole way back. And I remember even them putting stuff on ice during the summertime, but they would load down on all the meats and everything. They was cheaper in the grocery stores. All right, Magnus, have a good night. Get some rest. I know you'll be having that long flight back. And hopefully everything goes well on your flight back. You don't get stuck anywhere. Man, but yeah, I can't. I remember all that Amish food, man. It used to be really good. That homemade breakfast, especially like the pancakes from like actual flour that wasn't all crazily made up. But yeah, it used to be a full adventure that day because by the time we get home, if you didn't hit any accidents on a turnpike and everything, you might get home about 3:30. And that's only if we left at 5 in the morning. There, I remember times getting home at 6 o'clock. But if I recall right, it was like 3.5 hours, maybe even 4 to get there. But I always remember stopping at that breakfast place before we go in there, and then you grab all your food. It was just this little store too. Nothing crazy big onto it at all. And my grandfather used to get goat cheese, Jack. Real goat cheese. And then I remember when he was still able to drive, and during the summers he would watch me and stuff. That was after he closed his barber shop down. He would take me out. We'd have to go pick apples and strawberries, and he would go to this farm and get goat milk and real buttermilk. Oh, buttermilk was just nasty. I can't even stand the smell of it today. But I remember liking goat milk. It had a distinct taste to it. Man, I tell you, there was some crazy stuff down there that you could buy. Butter was another one down there. They would stock up on butter. It was all made. I just remember a lot of butter, a lot of cheese, some meats and lunch meats we would get there, like jellies, canned stuff. And I mean like real canned, not like in a can. I've tried almond milk. It's not bad. Um, I'm just not a real big milk person anymore. Ever since I was a kid, even chocolate milk. I mean, I'll drink it, just not like my go-to thing. What's up, hobbyist? How you doing? Oh, we're on. I don't know how we even got on to Amish foods. To be honest, now. I came up. I came on a little bit earlier, talking about a different Facebook group for all the people that have YouTube channels to go on there and start bringing members and stuff in and stuff like that with a calendar on there of when people are going live and not missing notifications. Some people get upset because they didn't know so and so had an auction. It didn't come up in their feed and stuff. Emu story time. I love the emu. I don't even know how that even started. That was before the commercials. I love emu stories. I don't. But I mean, that could be something that could be used on there too. And you add a document on there, somebody has control of it and stuff like that, and add addresses for TTMs. I'm sure there's some Facebook group out there solely for it, but people might not know about it. I've never done them, to be honest. Most of the time, if I get something autographed, it's probably going to hang on a wall or something, and it's from a show that I'm at. Normally, like a jersey, ball. Probably my big two things really there. Speaking of memorabilia, I had to watch how I worded this. I need to go inflate that basketball here shortly. I'm sure it's probably lost some air over last year. That has to be a crazy set to even put together. So you all know how I'm doing the 1986 Topps Traded PSA set, right? Mostly was trying to go for tens. So I found some tens going up on auction. I mean, they're low pops, under 10. They're going over $100 a piece. I'm thinking about busting my PSA 10 set and just selling it and going into something else now. Just for the fact that that stuff is insane. I could buy a lot of PC stuff other than putting a PSA 10 set together anymore. I made a Facebook group up. That's what's on the screen now for the YouTube channels. I know some people don't do social media and stuff like that. I know people just make a social media little platform too, just for Facebook baseball cards. But a place to where people can go on there, put the events on when they're going live. They can say, "Hey, I'm going live in an hour, or do an auction, whatever it may be, and stuff." And it would be able to, get them a crowd. They could see, well, this might not be a good time to go live because five other people are already live, or they're not getting notifications from YouTube. Everybody gets Facebook notifications. Hey, what's going on, Positive Breaks? How you doing? I'm doing good. Doing good. Eventually, there are some solely people. Um, I'll put it down here 1 second. I'm adding you guys up because I've seen y'all before. That's the link to it for right now until we figure out we want to change the name of it. But I just made YouTube Sports Cards channels. It was just quick and easy. I'm thinking the same onto it, honestly. And you know what? A lot of people will make up an alias account, not add any friends, and they'll just, do their thing that way, CVC. I've seen a lot do it for Raz groups. A lot. They have no pictures. They have the only friends they have on there are people that are in the groups, and that's it. No information, nothing. But I figure, we put. I went through a lot of stuff, and I went through the years on the rules for the group, like fishing. You can put in there, if you're looking for cards, if you want to sell your stuff, you don't have a YouTube channel, just basic stuff. Post front and back of the pick. You got to coin it. If you don't know what a coin is, then just ask. That's basically just your name and date on a piece of paper showing that you have the card, stuff like that. Normal stuff in the regular Facebook groups, just apply there. Down the road, I might let Razes go on into it and stuff like that, but I would need a Raz master to monitor that stuff and be able to comp it and stuff. And then all the posts would have to be approved by an admin or mod, just so there aren't people spamming it like with 50 posts a day. You know, just simple rules like don't bump your post every hour to get in top of the line, stuff like that. I mean, that's why I also want to have that events calendar so people can look, oh, it's Friday, click on events, go to calendar, and see who's live at what times, what they're missing. Oh, I just lost FDC on here. Where'd he go? There he is. Way up high. But yeah, I figured it'd be something different to try to do to try to get everybody together. At the same time frame, you could post a group into your videos or tell people about it so they can get into it if they're not getting notifications. It may help with everybody's members and stuff like that there, because I'm sure I have members that aren't members of other groups and so on and so forth. But just be something different offhand. And if you want to help, with the moderating and stuff like that there, just let me know. Because I can't do it as a one man show. There's no way. That's too big of a thing offhand. I know Chris already offered. I've known Chris for a few years now from Razzers and stuff. He knows how to comp prices it and stuff like that there to make sure stuff isn't overinflated like prices that would be a year down the road and stuff. Go live. I'll come on for a while. I need to call my rep up here eventually. I have to do my order tonight for tomorrow, so I don't have to talk to him tomorrow. Oh, wisdom teeth are no joke, Jack. I had mine out at age, let me think here, 19, maybe 18. And I had the army do it, which really sucked. I had to walk the whole way to this dental clinic, probably about 2 miles. I had to walk the whole way back from it. And the whole way back, I didn't realize from all the Novocaine and the gauze in my mouth that I was dripping blood out. And I had somebody stop about halfway there and ask me if I was okay, if I got beat up or something. But yeah, I was in pain for a couple days. Then I couldn't chew food back here because I kept having these like little holes in my gum where they pulled out at. Took years to get that thing like no more holes like indentions back here. I always had food getting stuck there. 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, maybe for CBC. Uh oh, look out. Yeah, I walked on that one. I'll tell you what was the worst thing though. If you haven't had your tonsils out, I had my tonsils out at age of 21. My goodness, and they didn't stitch me. They burned them shut, so I was home for like 2 weeks. It was miserable because you can't really swallow and stuff. I was actually giving myself IVs just to keep fluid in me and stuff. And I think it was like I had like a day or two left before I had to go back to work, and I ended up coughing, or maybe it was sneezing, one of the two, and this big, huge blood clot come out, and it looked like a body organ. I thought it was like my Adam's apple. Had to go back in. They wanted to burn it again. Good old army, don't stitch. Finally, they put me under and stitched me, and it still took about 2, 3 weeks to heal up. I lost so much weight off of that. I'll never forget. I lost like 30 pounds in a month. Oh, tonsils is horrible. Older you get too. Oh, I don't think I ever had that much pain because they let me go home the same day when they first did it. The second time I had to stay overnight, I had to have a buddy come pick me up because my wife was, my ex-wife, I should say, was out of the island, and he made me stay with him because his wife was a nurse. I think for a day or two to make sure I was good. Yeah, that's just what I did last night. Oh crap, that's on the screen still. Hold on, Mini. Man, it's so hard to get this thing to focus. It's so small. I was looking at my minis. The chipper's horrible. I put that back up in case anybody else looking, see what I was doing on here. I never had that. I had a umbilical hernia. I mean, it just felt like I went through Rocky beating me up like a side of beef. Really about it. Kidney stones, don't ever get those. You don't. I don't want to go into what they do with kidney stones, especially if you can't get them out the by yourself. That's why you'll see me drinking a lot of water. I still have like a tea or two a day, but I drink a good bit of water to keep myself flushed so I don't get them anymore. Knock on wood, because I've had them since 2015. Almost be 5 years in November. The only thing that got hiked up was the modern, and it was for the bulks. Yeah, I don't do bulk. I do bulk, but I don't. Mine are still underneath the old prices because they have them there. I will say instead of bulk at $15, why not just do economy at 20? It comes back quicker. For $5, I would probably up it. I don't think bulk is really worth it anymore. Yeah, I had to make sure I confirmed again with a different rep today just to make sure that my bulks are still the old pricing when they get to them like 6 months to another year down the road. Because if they're not, they can just send them back to me. I told them. Because my argument was you've had them for so long, they might be now over the $100 what they grade out PSA 10. And I guess they've already talked about that. They're going to look at what the prices were back then and try to give a fair estimate instead of upcharging people. That's yeah, I believe mine were calcium if I recall right. Calcium with your citric acid or something like that. I yeah. I had to wear a man pawn. That's probably the easiest thing I could say. Very very uncomfortable. Worst feeling ever, especially once they do the procedure. And what was bad was in 2015 I had two in one kidney and one in the other, so it was a long process. I had to limit myself on the Percocet they gave me because I didn't want to, become immune to it eventually. What's up, Ethan? Mine was basically due to dehydration, so much of being deployed to where the water wasn't able to push out a lot of proteins and stuff. I couldn't pass mine. Mine were over 10 centimeters. Oh, it's always fun getting older. Want to make sure I seen a couple people sent requests and I want to get them approved real quick. Oh, it sucks getting older. What even sucks more is when you're active for so long and then you get a desk job and then everything falls apart all at once. Now I just started there thinking now about PSA and SGC now. We started talking about that. Man, I got so much out. And what would really, well, at least STC's paid up front, but if PSA would like grade all my stuff in one day, man, that's a lot of money. Thousands. Try to stay in a good side so they don't black flag me too. Oh no, mine was from carrying like double my body weight up and down hills and stuff like that. I mean, I thought Pikes Peak was a pain in the butt to hike. Man, some of the mountains in Afghanistan were horrible, horrible. Didn't matter if even it was cool out. You just burning up sweat, can't keep water in you. You get hungry, get to the top of the hill, you gotta leave all your protective gear on, and so you're still sweating it out. And their thing was they gave us like a lot of protein shakes to take, and that's what messed us up. All that protein sludge in the kidneys couldn't get flushed out properly and started building stones. All right, positive breaks. Have a good night. I got you already. I proved you. I'll get to start getting the stuff fixed up a little bit tonight from everybody that I know have Facebook or YouTube pages. That way you guys can just post on there. The military nowadays is a cakewalk. I ain't joking. I came in, they were allowed to put your hands on you. They degrade you, every family member you had. Now you can't do all that. Started changing a lot in like 2008. Had to be a nicer, gentler. You had to cuddle. I had to learn new methods to bring terror as a drill sergeant. I learned not to yell. I will tell you, I did 20 years in, and oh, probably about 2 years of it was in Afghanistan, a little over a year in Iraq. I don't know how many field problems and going to training centers and going to like Japan, Australia, and all that. Probably at least another 3, 4 years there when you start counting field time in, if not more. Special duties, it was a long one. Trust me, when you go to basic training, a lot of them guys aren't in shape for it. By the end of it, it's a cakewalk. I used to wake dudes up, a whole company up when I was on duty in the evenings at like 1, 2 in the morning because you'd catch their fire guard asleep or something. Whole company get up. I would smoke, well, we called it smoke, but I'd make them do exercises for like an hour or so downstairs, put them back to bed. You can't do that no more. They just want you to put it on paper and kick them out. I found other different methods. I did do a lot of kicking out people, but I did that early to where it didn't affect the guys that wanted to be there and stuff later on. But I used to have fun with them too. After week 3, if they had a high PT score average for the platoon, I'd let them watch footballs on Sundays as long as the barracks were cleaned. Now, I would come in and ensure all this happened, so, I get my Sundays. A lot of times I would let them use their cell phones on Sundays and they had to give them all back afterwards. Stuff like that, which they appreciate down the road. I don't know, but I can tell you downtown inserts have been hot for years. Very hot. With basketball, I remember I got a free box of, I think it was Studio or something from David Adams with an order. And I pulled the Ben Simmons and I stared at it, and I think it was selling like something stupid like $200. That's like 2 years ago. So I sent it off, got graded, came back. The time frame was a BGS 10, and I think it sold for like 600-700. I couldn't believe it. Out of like a $20-$30 box of cards too. I mean, it was case hit. Everybody's looking for stuff to really, grade and stuff. Baseball, I don't know. Football and basketball, because it's all Panini, does a lot better. A lot of people view Panini baseball as a garbage product because they're not licensed, and they'll only go after like cut autos, bat knobs, and stuff like that. The rest of this stuff, they just sell it to get rid of it because it's just not appealing as Tops is because they're licensed. I mean, I could lie. I have Prism baseball cards that are graded. That some are out to be graded in my bulk issue because if Toss would ever lose their license, everything would go strictly to Panini, and then Prism took off, I'd probably be able to retire 2 or 3 times over. What's up, Ant? It all depends on the person, really, with Jack with them. I mean, you're gonna have a smaller market for people who want it, but like I said, if Tops will lose their license, I bet you that stuff explodes. I one of the people I graded a lot of my Prism baseball stuff, and I just threw it in a big bin and said, "Do not touch Prism baseball." I probably have about, I don't know, 1,500 in grading that I've done with it probably over the years. Last like 3, maybe 4. I have Optic too. I've graded too. I got a couple Otani rookie autographs that are graded from Optic. Heck, I gave one away one time. I think it was the Carolina Blue. Ended up getting in a case break, and he pulled me 2 different Otanis. They might not. Tops has that on lockdown pretty good. If Tops will lose their license, can you see all the Bowman heads? That's why I call them Bowman heads. They would lose their mind. I don't see Tops ever losing it. The popularity of Bowman, along with base Tops, even Tops Chrome has a pretty good following. Their high end is just not. I don't really care for it. Like Luminaries, Definitive, Transcendent. Nope. See ya. Have a good one. There was another Tops product. I'm trying to think what the heck the name of it is. I mean, like 5 star, horrible product. But the Top Supreme, when they did that back in the day, another horrible product. But their Bowman's really shaped up over the years. I'm trying to think what it is. Not clearly authentic. Archives, I don't like. Heritage is depending on the year they're doing for Heritage. I think before that would happen, Panini would have to split a sport with them. And I pray it would be basketball. And Panini will not give that up. That's their golden market. Just like Tops has baseball cornered. I don't think they would give up part of their stuff for football. I think they would go at it all. Be like, all right, if you want baseball, we get half the licensing for basketball because that's a global market, huge. Baseball kind of is, depending on the player. Oh, can you imagine Bowman Chrome? Basketball back again and Bowman? I don't even know how they even think about doing allocations with that. That'd be insane. I mean, it would be smart to do that, okay? Because Panini has a lot of fluff product out there for basketball to begin with. Like, they could go away and you could bring back like Tops Chrome, Bowman, and Bowman Chrome. Even Topps Finest. And get rid of five crappy Panini products. It would go insane. But they won't do it. They're all too much into the greed area onto it. But if I was the president of Topps, I'd be like, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you five licensed products in basketball. I'll take away five of mine, like Archive Signature Series. Um, and you take away five, and I put five in there. And I mean, Panini would do well with NT, Flawless. I mean, they already have it, but it's just not licensed. Prism, Optic. Throw one more in there, and you have some great stuff coming out. You really would. The real key to it all would be if Upper Deck would make a push out of hockey back into it all. Because they have certain players locked up, like LeBron James and Michael Jordan. And Ben Simmons autographs can't be done. Jordan can't have any cards at all with anybody else but Upper Deck. I think same with like Tiger Woods. But LeBron is just autograph wise. I know that he signed that exclusive deal. He could still have other cards, of course. Hence, Panini uses them. I thought Upper Deck was one of the best there was at a time. I liked whenever we were doing the Letterman patches and autos. Those were sweet. I mean, they started off with the sweet spot baseballs autographs, which were really cool. If it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't really be where we're at today with the competition, to be honest. Because if you go back and look at what Upper Deck was doing with autographs and relics back in the day and stuff, Sweet Spots baseball was huge. Then they started doing it with football, and I forget what they called it offhand. It was something like pigskin or something autograph, but yeah. Oh, the inserts were great too. The other one I liked back in the day was Fleer Ultra. I was a big Fleer Ultra guy. It just had that real nice finish to it. They had tons of inserts every year. What's up, card collector? Everybody popping in now. Oh, what I did is I came up with an idea a while back, and I just started really playing with it this weekend. But it's a Facebook group page for YouTube channels for sports cards to come together and be able to use the events calendar to post when they go live or when they're doing it at the same time frame. They could go in and be like, hey, I'm going live in an hour, because people are missing notifications along with emails that are pushed out by people. So my idea was, when everybody else checks Facebook, you get your notifications all the time. And I mean, with it there, if you don't have a YouTube channel, you could I want people to use it to post like their mail day pics, PC for trade, for sales, stuff like that. Might do Razes. I have a section on there with it with the rules that I've been working at, but no Razes yet because those are very tricky because you have to have a verified random.org paid account, and you can either go live with it it would have to be either live on the Facebook group or you would have to use screencasts. I know a lot of people aren't familiar with doing all that. But if it did happen, I got guys that I could bring over for runners for that stuff. But yeah, I end up making it up. I haven't really advertised a whole lot for it. A couple people joined today with it. I'll start with like if you have a YouTube channel and I see you in other people's streams and stuff like that, I'll put you as a mod. So all the posts have to be approved by an admin or mod. That way you can approve your own post and just, stuff that's simple like you can only bump your post once a day, none of that crazy every hour so you can be at the top of the page stuff. You have to put prices on your sales and your trade values, stuff like that. At the same time frame, there's a lot of people starting off with YouTube channels that have questions that other people could answer. It'd be easier to put it in there than it would to hit somebody up on a live stream too when they're breaking and ask a question. Hey, good luck fishing. Hopefully you get a couple down there. But I figured it might be a little bit smoother of a process, with stuff as well. I know there's a ton of Facebook pages out there do buy, sell, trade rises. But with such a tight thing, you see a lot of the same people in different streams when you bounce around. People start, get to know people better. Plus, it can help expand people's YouTube channels too by them, basically saying, hey guys, check this page out here. And then people start going to it. They're like, oh, there's so and so's live time. Let me check out their auction, see what they got going on. Stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna need help with this. So I was telling people if they want to click in, they want to do some help with it and stuff like that. They're more than welcome to. I know Chris doesn't have a YouTube page at all, and he's already volunteered to help admin in it for me. So I'm gonna hook him up later on this evening because he pretty much has been around the big Raz rooms and stuff like that, and big Facebook groups that are secretive that he'll be able to help out with stuff, especially with getting the post. That's a hard one there, card collector. It takes a long time to start guessing the prices of teams onto it. I got taught on how to do it by Platinum Card Breaks. Dave actually told me how he did it. He waits for group break checklist to come out with a checklist. Now, if you're not doing random teams, okay? If you're doing random teams, it's the easiest thing to do. You figure what the total cost of the case is. You figure how much your shipping's going to be roughly onto it. And then you add into your, what do they call it, your fees associated with either credit card or PayPal. So that comes up to where you break even at. Then you add in if you want to make $100 for your time, whatever it may be, onto it. And then you divide that up by the amount of teams. That's your random teams. Now, if you're going to price your teams out, that's where it gets tricky because everybody's always all over the map. I used to always talk with a couple people to see where they were at, where I was at, and we always try to find a median in there to be around the same price. But again, what you would do is you get that total cost of shipping and handling, including your supplies, plus what the case is selling for, and then whatever your average, PayPal fee or credit card fee is. And then you have to sit there and say, okay, I need to make $100 for doing this. I'm just using that for an example. You add that in there. Then you start looking at your big teams on there, say the Pelicans, if it's basketball, and you know that's going to be your big chunk of it all, and you start on a spreadsheet, averaging your prices down and try to get to that number. If it is 15 cards and none of them are top loaded, I will usually. It depends on what I have for supplies. A lot of times I'll team bag, put it between cardboard, send it out. If I have the slide cases or the little snap cases that hold like 25 cards in, I'll put it in there, and I'll use like one of these as a filler, just to, so the stuff's tight. And what I'll do is I'll take a sleeve on top, and what I'll do is I roll these up, and then I'll put a little piece of tape there and put it on top just so the stuff stays tight. But that's what I do. You always want to brick everything you send. That way it's harder for it to get damaged and bend. And my thing is, if I start seeing a package weighing over a pound, it's going in a box just because a box is more secure. Yeah, a lot of times, you could always look at what people are trying to pre-sell teams at too, and gander where you're at too, and try to figure out why you're off. Um, it really depends on the breaks too, but that's how I add up the total cost onto a break. A lot of times, if you get the stuff on pre-order, you don't have to add, whatever you want to make on a break, because you got to charge what the case is, and the profit's already there. But you got to remember, like PayPal's like 30 cents plus 2.9%, so you got to add that in if you have 30 spots. Come with that figure times 30, and that's what you got to look at there. Whatever if you have a credit card processor, it could be anywhere from 2.5 to 3.9, depending on who you use. Add that into it. Um, Shipping's always the funny part of it all. What I'll just do is I just do a flat $4 per, and that will make up, like, if a guy only gets 15 cards, it kind of sucks too when you do it that way. But he might end up paying like say $3 for shipping, and you'll have like 6 or 7 of those, but yet somebody out there will have like a big team, it's heavy like the Yankees, that might cost $5 a send. It's just adding it up like that. And then if people get like 4 or 5 teams, you already know that you're gonna be probably sending a priority unless it's a low count break. And sometimes you might just want to do free shipping onto it too. Like products, say like Clearly Authentic only has 20 hits into it, and pretty much probably only going to send about 10 to 12 packages out. Yeah, I'd probably do random teams onto it. And the way I've always done it, I never charge for shipping. I just add it into the amount per spot. Some people do it differently. You could sit there and say, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a number out, like $5 per random team, and then $4 shipping for your first team, and then a dollar per afterwards, up to like $9, which I think would cover East to West Coast priority mail of over 13 ounces. Once you start doing a couple breaks, you start seeing where a lot of the product is and stuff. The checklist is really, really key onto a lot of it. And I messed up early on when I was doing Allen and Ginter. So I was charged, I think it was like back in the day, it was like 350 shipping per team and a dollar afterwards. Well, people who took the non-baseball spot, their package was already going to be like $10 for shipping. So I started learning how to incorporate it widely across the board and stuff. I just upcharged basically for the team to cover the shipping onto it. Your probably best way to car collector on the three or two Bowman blasters you want to break. I'd probably do it by random division, which is eight. Is it eight or six? Oh, I forget how many dang divisions there are. I think it's eight. Yeah, eight divisions. And take that into total cost with how much the boxes run, plus shipping would probably be out of a blaster box. I'd probably do $4 on, and you should be fine. It'll sell out quicker that way too. And then just do random divisions on it. Because if you do it by team, you're gonna be you have to charge a lot for shipping on it then. Because then you got to go into play for bubble envelopes and everything else incorporate into it. Normally, that's where I get the $4 from because I'll use PayPal to ship with, and that's why I tell a lot of people to use goods and services instead of me having to fill out a PayPal ship it now form. I can just hit ship on it and populates all their stuff. But you start really using a lot of ink up. You'll start using a lot of labels up that way. And I think 50 labels on Amazon's like $7. So was that about 35 cents a label? Mm, no, it's less than that. Let me look here. Maybe I am right. So $7 divided by 50, 14 cents a label, and then bubble envelopes are, I think it's like $11 for 25. Which is like 40 cents of a bubble envelope. So you're looking at just off of that there without even, thinking how much ink you'll be burning up with all that stuff. That's still around like 55 cents without ink. So you want to use PayPal to ship your stuff because they give you a little bit of a discount, which will cover all your other stuff normally. If you have to take it to the post office and have them do it, you pay more for shipping, just so you're tracking. And if you ever look on eBay, that's why you could pick out guys that are charging like $5 for shipping first class because they're not doing it from home with tracking. They're going to the post office to do it. And you'll tell when you get it in because a different they have all your stuff handwritten on the envelope versus a printout. Those blasters can be very, very rewarding right now too. I've been hearing grading on the Chrome cards have been pretty crazy this year with centering and surface issues. I don't know yet because I won't probably have mine back for a while, but I've heard they've been hitting heavy on the surface. Dog out cold under me. Breaks can be fun. I always try to look at the way I can at least do shipping on, especially at bigger breaks. A lot of times I'll try if I know it's a heavy product like Allen and Ginter, I'll combo a lot of teams up and I'll do priority mail postage on everybody's stuff. just because I know the weight's going to be really high anyhow. Because trust me, nobody's not going to want their base cards. There's a lot of people who don't ship base, but if you don't, you start getting people not wanting to get in your baseball stuff. There are a lot of people who won't ship paper with their Bowman either. They'll usually say they'll ship like the top three rookie papers or their first Bowman papers, and that's it. They won't ship the base paper. That's why a lot of times I prefer just to sell the boxes outright. I'll open them live for people because it's easier to ship and I don't have to charge really crazy prices then. I'm trying to think what I want for dinner tonight. Ever since DoorDash messed up today, they got a little refund to use. Probably mess it up again knowing them. I was debating on it. I got pizza up in the freezer I can make up, but might just might order some Korean. Kind of mood for some Korean bulgogi. But see, the only thing bad is that I can't. You can't put on there not to put the freaking peppers in there. Even if you write in there, they don't see it. I might do the same thing. Just do a pizza. Actually, let me see. I don't know what's in my wallet anymore. Might have money in my wallet still. Ooh, I do. Heck yeah. I got like $17 in my wallet. I'm rich. I don't really haven't had a chance to spend cash that much. What's up, J and J? So now you made me hungry. It's a Facebook group that's going to be sole purpose is for the YouTube channels, so that there can be a they. If you have a channel, you post your schedule in there. I'm not posting everybody's schedule in the events in the calendar, but also it lets you go in there. And a lot of people don't get notifications, and they're not getting emails to them and stuff like that. It's being spammed out. So, say like I'm going live at 8 o'clock tonight Eastern, I would post in there, as I'm going live. Hey guys, I'm going live with blah 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 whatever I'm doing for the night. So that way you can get people into your room. It also helps blend everybody's members together to help people with their member counts, watched hours, and everything like that. Good luck on that. That's all I got to say. An A Rod rookie auto? I don't think he had one his rookie year. You have to find somebody that had one signed. But yeah, I was getting some people together to help mod it and admin it because there's no way I'll be able to do it myself. So I got Chris is going to come on board and give me a hand with it. And then if you're a YouTube channel that, all the posts have to be approved by admin or moderators so we don't have people spamming in there. That's always the fun part. So if you're a YouTube channel and say like you are always in other people's streams, you're in there supporting, helping out, and stuff like that, I'll give you moderator rates so that way when you do post your stuff, you can just self approve your stuff type deal. But I don't want it to be a spam fest, so that's why all posts have to be approved by admin or a moderator. I never seen them autoed CBC from '94 SP. There might have been a few that they did that year, but I can only remember ever seeing them, the non-auto ones I've had, and those were hard to grade. As a matter of fact, I think I just sold the last ones in my show in January that I had of them. Uh, yeah, I never could get above a 9 when I tried for grading. Never did Beckett on to them. Mine were all PSA though. I might have had some 9.5s in there. Man, I just thought what I want to eat tonight. I want to get Arby's one of them freaking Swiss dip sandwiches tonight. That's what I'm going to get. Who comes on tonight? Oh, I don't know because I don't have everybody on the events calendar. But I think ABC's live tonight. I don't even know. Just that's why I think a calendar is so helpful. That if you got about, even if we had like 4 or 5 people that just posted their stuff on, everybody knew when they were going live. It's, I mean, I know when I go live, but I bet you a ton of people don't know my times because I don't even know them half the time. There you go. Yeah, I'm really thinking about busting that 86 tops trade set up and just selling it and concentrating back on my Nolan Ryan population. If the common PSA 10s were still like 20 to, a low pop of like 3 being like 30 or $40, I'd be game. But when they're reaching over $100 for a pop 7 or 8, I have those in pop 10s. I'm thinking about selling it because out of all those cards I got, including the Bonds PSA 10, Jackson PSA 10, Conseco, all the big ones are in there. I mean, I bet you I can get 2,500 on auctions on them easy. I could really buy some nice PC stuff for that vintage because not a lot of people are tapping vintage right now, thankfully, yet. Everybody's still like into the 80s era. Nobody's hitting 60s and stuff really big. CBC years ago, I started a Jeter one, and I think I was number 3 at a time on PSA. I believe I was number 3. Well, anyhow, I was at a. It wasn't a national. It was like another big expo, and it was up in Chicago. I remember. Well, anyhow, I was sitting there talking to a guy, and he was a big Jeter collector, and he was the number 1 guy on the PSA list. He said, "Did you ever think about selling yours?" I said, "I don't know. I kind of enjoy collecting them. It was just something fun I was doing." This was way back in like, probably like '07, '08, '09, somewhere around there. What he offered me at that time frame was the same amount of money back then. If I'd have kept those till today, would have been like the hugest insane thing ever. The only thing I didn't have that was big back then was a PSA 10 SP. I had a 9. I had like the Stadium PSA 10. I had the Members Choice PSA 10. I had so many subsets and regular base cards of him 10s. And it was just started getting really crazy with all the stuff coming out. And the price he gave me, I couldn't really get away from. I even had the Topps Gold back then, PSA 10. I lucked out in that one getting graded. Sent like 6 or 7 on men. And when I got the box, I just was like 9, 9, 9, 8, 9. And I was like, holy crap, a 10. And I about fainted. I had a bunch of his upper deck PSA 10s, I remember. Then I had a couple of autographs that were PSA 10'd out. He was pretty happy with a lot of this stuff. I would have to even go look at the Jeter collection. I bet you he's still #1 on there. Gold's a hard one to grade. I set one I pulled out of a box, the PSA a while back. I was hoping it would at least come back in 9, came back in 8. Corners were good on too because I pulled it fresh. Centering was good on the front. Top, bottom, left, and right. The back was a little bit off, but I have no idea. There must have been something on the gold onto it that I missed. Only thing I could think of. I mean, unless there was like an ink spot or something on it, I have no idea. Oh, I'd be happy too if I got a 9.5 out of SGC with it. They're hard to grade. I was so happy when I pulled that thing. I sat there and stared at it. Then I pulled out the little block thing that I have and started looking at centering. And I'm like, oh man, this is like dead on, left and right and top and bottom. It definitely was within their 90-10 onto it. And then I started looking at the back. I'm like, oh, they're not as hard on the back. It should at least get a 9. When it came back at 8, I was so upset. I still couldn't figure out what it was. It had to be something on that foil that I missed. I just don't know what. And once it's a capsule, it's kind of hard to find it. Well, I think I'm going to get off here, get some dinner in. We'll see how this Facebook thing picks up any steam or not. Hopefully we can get some channels in there, then start floating some members in and stuff. And it benefits everybody in the long run between them, both the members and the channels. The members being able to find some new places they've never seen before. And we have a good community going. If not, I gave it a shot too. But I think it'd be kind of cool because people could just log in their Facebook and do watch parties without even having a YouTube account too. But I'll catch you guys probably later in some of the rooms. I didn't realize I was on for like 2 hours, and the taco pizza, then to the Korean barbecue, and now to Arby's has really hit me. But appreciate everybody. Link is in the description if you want to look at the Facebook group. Send it through, and then I'll start working that stuff later on tonight. My 2 white whales. Good luck. Those are hard. I won't even buy a 7.5 now. The price is just too hard. But I'm going to get me some dinner. Everybody take care. CVC, if you go live tonight, I'll try to pop on at 10 Eastern. I should still be up till about 11 tonight. But I'll talk to y'all later.